Welcome. I'm back with another chapter reading, another segment, another education into our culture, into how spirituality turned into religion. I am the Nasty Pastor. Please go like, share, subscribe, comment at my YouTube channel, Only Faith Ministries. And we're doing this reading from the Holy Bible, from Genesis, the first book. And if you really understand the Holy Bible, if you really understand the person who wrote the Holy Bible, if you really understand the travels of the person that wrote, the Old Testament of the Holy Bible, the first book, Genesis, you know what I mean, then you will understand this man's teachings come from out of Kemet. He lived in Upper Egypt, Upper Africa, you know what I mean, in Kemet. He was raised and left, Kemet, freed his people out of Kemet. But you should try to view, you should try to stream, you should try to re-educate yourself about Moses, about the bloodline of Moses, because we all, there was a time I didn't believe. I was an atheist walking on this rock. I never went against Jesus, but it was a time that I didn't believe. So I say this to you, we all believe and we all can stamp that this book has trickery in it, right? Then if this book has trickery in here, and you understand the bloodline of Moses, and you have talked down on Jesus, you have been tricked. Anywho, once again, I'm who? The Nasty Pastor. What I'm doing? A chapter reading. And I believe we are at chapter 19. So we're going to get into this. And follow this. Open your ears and open your mind to this. The title of chapter 19 is Sodom's Depravity. Now the two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, "Here now, my lords, please turn into your servant's house and spend the night, and wash your feet. Then you may rise early and go on your way." And they said, "No, but we will spend the night in the open square." Now, I want to pause for a minute, because you see where lords is plural. It doesn't say Lord, L-O-R-D. It said L-O-R-D-S. You know what I mean? I'm going to back it up. He said, and he said, "Hear now, my lords." You feel? So, the way the word is used, is determining one or two, three or four, maybe a multitude. However, I'm under the understanding that this man wasn't talking to just one person, just one God, just one human being, just one, as it said, Lord, talking to several of them. But he instead strongly. So they turned into him and entered his house. Then he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Now before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both old and young, all the people from every quarter surrounded the house. Excuse me. And they called to Lot and said to him, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us that we may know them carnally. So Lot went out to them through the doorway, shut the door behind him, and said, please, my brother, do not do so wickedly. See now, I have two daughters who have not known a man. Please let me bring them out to you, and you may do to them as you wish. Only do nothing to these men, since this is the reason they have come under the shadow of my roof. And they said, stand back. Then they said, this one came in to stay here, and he keeps acting as a judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them. So they pressed hard against the man, Lot, and came near to break down the door. But the men reached out their hands and poured Lot into the house with them and shut the door. And they struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they became weary trying to find the door. I'm blind, these people. You understand me? They don't sing too much. You know what I mean? They ain't took their hearing, but they took their singing. So, you know, understand this, you know what I mean? Our sixth senses is a gift that can be taken away. Our sixth senses are supposed to warn us, are supposed to act as a reaction. What is how the doctor do it? You know, the doctor take that little thing, hit you in your kneecap to see if you know what your reaction, you know your how fast your reaction is in your kneecap, because it should move. It shouldn't be lazy. It should move. You got what I'm saying? So understanding your sixth senses is like a mechanism, a beacon of you know, some type of warning system. You know, we can hear, we can hear, see, smell, feel. There's six of them. You know what I mean? See, hear, smell. I think talk is one too. I know feeling is one. You can feel things. You know what I mean? And that sixth one, you know, I'ma research it and I'm gonna come back to you in an extra, so that you know, understand what they are if you don't know what they are. But the verse 12, the beginning of that, the title would be Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed. Then the men said to Lot, have you anyone else here, son-in-law, your sons, your daughters, and whomever you have in the city, take them out of this place, for we will destroy this place, because the outcry against them has grown great before the face of the Lord. You see right here, it said one time Lord, and then it's bold letters, capital letters, Lord. So, you know, when I read this long time ago, you know what I'm saying, I sat there and I looked at a lot. I looked at the way things was wrote. I looked at the way things was in bold caps, you know, and it and it kind of like helped me understand that these, you know, authors that wrote, rewrote the Holy Bible, that published the Holy Bible, you know, they put some direction in here. They didn't leave you blind. They didn't leave you unknowing. You know, to me, it made it where I could use common sense to understand. Okay, this must be the supreme Almighty that they're speaking of. These ones down here, you know, when I read in verse, what verse is it? What verse is it? Mm, when I read it down here, it's basically the same. You know, the words are not really bold. You know what I mean? They capital letters. The L is capital. You know what I mean? But the rest of it is lower. You know, lower caps. You know, right here we're looking at all capital letters. You know, so I'm gonna go and proceed. And the Lord has sent us to destroy. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who had married his daughters, and said, "Get up, get out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city." But to his sons-in-law he seemed to be joking. When the morning dawned, the angels urged Lot to hurry, saying, "Arise, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city." And while he lingered, the men took hold of his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. So it came to pass, when they had brought them outside, that he said, "Escape for your life. Do not look behind you, nor stay anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, lest you be destroyed." Then Lot said to them, "Please know, my lords, indeed now your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have increased your mercy, which you have shown me by saving my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, lest some evil overtake me and I die. See now, this city is near enough to flee to, and it is a little one. Please let me escape there. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live." And he said to him, "See, I have favored you concerning this thing also, in that I will not overthrow this city for which you have spoken. Hurry, escape there, for I can not do anything until you arrive there." Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun and rising upon the earth when Lot entered Zoar. Then the Lord rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. So he overthrew those cities, all the plain, all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground. But his wife looked back behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord. Then he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and he saw, and behold, the smoke of the land which went up like the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had dwelt. Now, Lot and Abraham supposed should be brothers. You know, I know they from off the same bloodline. You know what I mean? And here's a part in the beginning of our making, that whom we pray to, you know, you get me, destroy the city. You know, a city, not the whole rock, a city with fire. And this is after Noah. This is after the great flood. You get me? This after it. You know, so it was still wickedness. It was still evil within our land. There was still evil in our presence. And that's why I say to you is this right here, you know, understand that Satan is whom we pray to firstborn. 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 First soul that was created. You got me? And understand the only way you will know good is that evil exists. The only way you will know evil is that good exists. It's a yin and a yang. One cannot thrive without the other in presence, in action, being active. So I say to you is this right here, don't just research good. Research some evil with a long reach, with a long understanding, with enough understanding and common sense to know how far to go, how far to talk of it, how far to allow yourself to be sucked in. You got me? Because it's easy. It's very easy. You know what I mean? We are wicked by nature. We are, how to put it, weak because of the flesh. You know what I mean? We want all we see. We want all we hear about. And it's, it been time, you know what I mean? I mean, been time to put on your armor, to realize some of these things you see, some of these things you want, they're not a need, they're not a necessity. Some of these things is for other people to marvel with. Some of these things is for you to see the pleasure in another person's destruction, so you don't destroy yourself. We all are walking billboards. We all are walking, talking gods and goddesses that's supposed to represent something so beautiful, something so supreme that when we're put in place, put in motion, put in action, we are supposed to display humbleness. We are supposed to take our knowledge, turn it into wisdom. And just because we don't hit the bullseye, we have a connection, a how to put it, friendship, a bond more towards whom we pray than others. It ain't for you to throw it in people's faces. It ain't for you to think you're better than others. Help others. Help others with the gift you have. Help others understand that, hey, if you take this serious, if you study, if you turn understanding to knowledge and you turn knowledge to wisdom, whom you pray to is going to use you. Going to use you. Because you're needed. You're needed to spread the word. You're needed to fight Satan. Anywho, look. Let's get into verse 30. And the title where verse 30 starts is The Descendants of Lot. Then Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountains, and his two daughters were with him. For he was afraid to dwell in Zoar, and he and his two daughters dwelt in a cave. Now the firstborn said to the younger, Our father is old, and there is no man on the earth to come into us, as is the custom of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him. Now, if you're looking at verse 32, lie is spelled L-I-E. Now, y'all gonna lie with him? My common sense tell me the sentences, the verses before verse 32, they talking about having sex. These women are trying to figure out how to have some babies for their father. So if fornication, if having sex with your children was considered wrong, why was this bloodline so blessed? Why was this bloodline even today able to have more, do more, influence more, when this holy Bible right here, this book right here, this guide, this blueprint to heaven has explained to you, this man took these two women, supposed to be his daughters, had sex with them to keep the bloodline going, to keep that branch of the root growing. That we may preserve the lineage of our father. So they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and laid with, now this time it said L-A-Y. You feel me? It's spelled L-A-Y. And the firstborn went in and laid with her father, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. It happened on the next day that the firstborn said to the younger, indeed I lay with my father last night. Let us make him drink wine tonight also, and you go in and lie with him. Now this time it's spelled L-I-E again. That we may preserve the lineage of our father. Then they made their father drink wine the night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, which is spelled L-A-Y, with him, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. Thus both the daughters of Lot were with child by their father. The firstborn bore a son, and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. And the younger, she also bore a son and called his name Ben-Ami. He is the father of the people of the Ammon to this day. That's the end of chapter 19. And I just want to say this to you, you know what I mean? There are things that we say wrong. There are things that this blueprint, this guide, this commandment from whom we pray to say is right. Did you hear me? Say is right. I'm going to say this to you, you know what I mean? Keep the hand, keep the blood, keep the trilogy in you. Feel me? Keep it in you. You know, I don't believe we all going to heaven. I don't believe we're all going to hell. I don't believe that we all will get to heaven and understand the master plan of our Creator. I do believe we don't have to go to hell to recognize Satan, to recognize Ra. You feel me? Let me say this to you again. We do not have to go to hell to recognize Satan, to recognize Ra. You can do this right on this rock right here. In this reality we living in, you can do that right on this rock. Anywho, I am the Nasty Pastor. Thank you for coming in and viewing this reading. Thank you for viewing all of them. Thank you if you're caught up. Thank you if you have subscribed. Anyways, anywho, I love you and I'm out.